Hey guys, welcome back to day 3. So in this question we get given a string that looks like this, and inside of it we need to look for the valid strings. And a valid string is any string that starts with the word mul, then has a left bracket, then has a number, then has a comma, then has another number, then has a closed bracket. And then in the string there'll be a bunch of them, and whenever we see one of these mul operations, we want to multiply the two numbers and add it to the total. So I start off by reading the input file, and then for every string in the input, if I go through it and I essentially check if the current letter is M, then I want to check if it's a valid string. So we're using this mult function. So go into this mult function, you can see it checks the first letter, make sure it's M-U-L-T, and then the bracket. And if any of those are false, it'll exit out. Then we add the current digits to the string until we find a full stop, or a comma. And we still have value number 1. Then we reset temp and keep going again until we find a right bracket. And we find the right bracket, and we know we've reached the end and we've got a valid number. So we multiply number 1 by number 2 and add that to the answer. And here it's have a printing it out for debugging. And you can see I have this answer variable here. It's a reference to it. So this is adding to the global answer variable that I passed in. And yeah, we just go through characters one by one and do that for every character. Then in part 2, we essentially this time we want to go through the string. And if we find a don't, we want to ignore every multiplication instruction until we find a do. And then we want to process every multiplication instruction until we find a don't again. So here in part 2, it's pretty much the exact same as the first one, except here now we have this variable, this boolean do multiplication, which starts as true. And then if we find a D, we pretty much just check is the current substring do. If it is, we set do multiplication to true. And if it's a don't, we set do multiplication to false. Effectively, we check if the current letter is M. We also check if we're doing the multiplication before we add to the answer. That's it. Thanks for watching.